Kill the stat. Rail raw and uncut. We done teamed up. A podcast for the community. Hard as an uppercut with that real news. Upside your headpiece. Informing you with that real stuff. With the how, why, who wins and what's a reality, making it clear cut. Truth will set you free, unfiltered and no bluff, no fluff. You kid or rebut, don't be bewildered. Don't agree with the cause, great, you can speak up. Wednesdays at 8, hit the comments up, talk your stuff, set it straight. We learn more from each other in this information age. Institutions will leave you lost and awestruck, so listen up, you'll be compelled. Maybe you'll find yourself stuck on what you thought was real. But them gems I'm dropping on this program may just appeal to your appetite for info. This the intro to reveal. Get your info on YouTube for your fill. From AM to PM it's popping, so sit back and chill. Nobody doing it like this man on this podcast. This is for real. It's real raw and uncut. Real raw and uncut. Wednesdays at 8.
Yo, whether you're listening to this on your way to work, whether you're listening to this during your lunch break, whether you're listening to this on your way to bed, I am your host, Rels. This is the Rel Roy Uncut podcast. And make sure you follow on YouTube, RDHTV82, Twitch TV, RDHTV82. What else? Twitter, I am Rels2920. And tonight I am joined by a special guest. I've known her for quite some time. She's like super busy, super creative, super entrepreneur-like, founder of No Filter, and also founder of IndieSource magazine. Jesblaze, how are you doing?
What's up? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Dope intro too, by the way. I'm feeling that. Really digging that.
Thank you. Shout outs to my guy Tiola Stat out of Arizona. He did that for me. So definitely. I'm still working on the edits. I did the edits and he did the music. So I'm trying to find something. I want to do something better, but right now it's working. So I'm not even going to touch it. If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
At the end of the day, it's content. Content is everything. So content is king. So as long as you got that, you're good, you know?
Absolutely. And I'm pushing more content out now recently, more than I have in a while. So more content, the better, like you said. So but how's everything going with you on your end?
I'm good, busy, trying to keep my head above water, you know, trying to take over the world like Pinky and the Brain.
Nah, you're doing a good job. I can't complain.
Just trying to take over a little bit of the world. I don't want the whole world. Just want a little bit of the world. You know, everybody got to eat.
the whole world, though, you encounter too many more problems. I don't think you want all the extra. We don't want all the extra. So, but let's start. So, reading up on you, it says you started your No Filter radio 2016. How did that come about? How did you get into that? And was it something you always wanted to do?
Absolutely not. That opportunity kind of fell in my lap. I got someone from this guy from the Evening Rush, Don.
Oh, shout out to Don. Shout out, absolutely.
Yeah, he hit me up and he's like, "Yo, Jess, you want to come on our show to be a guest co-host?" So I was like, at first I was like, no, because I didn't like how I sound. I don't even like leaving voicemails because I don't like how my voice is, And I was like, no, I'm good. And then he's like, think about it. Long story short, I decided to do it. And when I did it, I was like, you know what? It's kind of cool. But even still, it wasn't my thing because I ride. I like bikes. That's what I'm into. Mm-hmm. And I was with them for, I want to say maybe about a year or so. And everything was good and everything like that, but I chose to kind of like veer off and do my own thing. You know what I mean? Because I felt like I was able to do it on my own, and I just wanted to venture out. And I had my own ideas and stuff like that, and I respected theirs, but I just wanted to venture off with my ideas. So I started the podcast, and originally it was actually called The Menu. And it was called The Menu for just a few months, because then I started saying the menu over and over again in my head, and I was like, that shit is hella whack. That's number one. Number two, I was like, can no artist do a freestyle with the fucking menu? I'm like, that shit is just not gonna work. And I was like, and I said, you know what, this name is not fitting for me. And I gave it some thought, and I regrouped and everything, and I just started thinking about what would be a good name. And I just started saying, you know what, everybody's always telling me I have no filter. Everybody's always telling me, like, yo, Blaze, you ain't got no filter. You say whatever the hell's on your mind. I just kept saying no filter radio. And I just kept saying it over and over again. And then it just stuck with me. I said, you know what? This is what it's gonna be. It's gonna be no filter radio. And the rest is pretty much history. I'm here going on 8 years right now.
Congratulations.
I started the magazine going on 3 years ago. And even that wasn't even planned. That started out as a Facebook group, actually. That was literally just a Facebook group that I had, and I was just posting up content for independent artists and things like that or whatever. But somebody was like, yo, why don't you do a magazine? And I was like, that's a whole lot of fucking work. I said, well, you know what, fuck it. I said, let me do it. And I wound up doing it. And you know what, here I am 3 years later, and a billboard on Times Square later, and I'm still thankfully making this happen.
Absolutely. So for those who
shout out to my writers.
For those who don't know, how difficult is the process to actually start? It's a two-part question. How difficult is the process to actually start? Well, to start No Filter, and how difficult was the process to actually start the magazine?
How was it to start the radio show and the magazine?
Yeah, how difficult was the process?
It wasn't too difficult. I mean, the main thing that I did was I did a whole lot of research. Like, I'm a research queen. I research tremendously, because I'm always be a student, and I always act like a student. You know what I mean? So I just did a whole lot of research, and I was looking up other podcasts. And I admire Angie Martinez. Like, I love her. You know what I mean? She's the epitome of a radio host. You know what I'm saying? She's been in the game for over 25 years.
Yeah.
And like I said, but between the research and then just watching other podcasts, I kind of learned on my own, and I went. It was like I just went with it. You know what I'm saying? And as I kept doing it, I just kept getting better. In the beginning, I was nervous as hell. I was like, what the hell am I gonna ask these people? How does the interview go? How do I conduct this? Everything was just like a flyby. It was like I was learning as I was going.
Yeah, that I take that the same as today for me. When doing interviews, it's like I'm still learning every day. I'm still getting comfortable, because like you said too, with the whole voice thing, I don't like the way how my voice sounds either. So it's like it's almost trying to find your sound, but trying to find the comfortability as well. And then in terms of interviews too, it's like especially like when interviewing artists, it's mainly the same questions, but you got to realize that it's going to be different answers from different people. But it's hard because sometimes you don't want to ask the same questions. How did you start? Like, what's your favorite song? Who's your inspirations? But then you realize that as the interview flows, the people get more comfortable. The conversation flows. And like I said, you'll ask the same questions, but you'll just get different answers. And you'll never know who you talk to and how interesting their story is to how they got to where they got to. So I totally understand.
I try not to ask the same questions. It's inevitable. You're going to do it, like you said, but I try my best not to. I engage with them more as if like you're my boy at that moment, and we just kicking it, smoking a blunt, and we having a conversation. You know what I mean? And I try to make them feel as comfortable as possible. Like, these artists are ready to take their sneakers off and kick their feet up type of thing. That's how comfortable I make them. You know what I'm saying? But I strike up the conversation. I'll do the Q&A. Don't get me wrong, because that's the whole purpose of the interview, for people to get to know who they are, and myself as well, because I don't know everything. And that's why I'm asking those questions as well. But I try to, like I said, I try to base the conversation off of just like casual talk. You know what I'm saying? And I'll try to do my research as best as possible on them, depending on how much information they have out there about themselves, or if they have an EPK and it's telling them a little bio about themselves, then I'll nitpick with that. I'll be like, oh, so you were doing this when you was a kid, and then we'll have a conversation from there, and then it'll just escalate. You know what I mean?
So when doing like showcases and stuff, is it easy? Do you find it easy to find talent who want to do it, or is it or what's the process of finding talent? Do you put it out there and they just come to you, or do you know people and then you like
What, for
inquire
the
if they want
interviews?
to do it? Yeah, like for the interviews or also for like doing talent and shows and stuff like that.
Oh, they come to me. Like 90% of the time they're coming to me. Like my show that I have coming up on the 16th, I handpicked every artist to perform. Simply because I know, one, they're not going to lip sing. Two, I know that they're dope ass artists. And three, because I want to see them perform. Either I've never seen them perform or I've seen them perform and I want to see them perform again. But for the interviews, like I would say like 90% of the time they're reaching out to me, unless I reach out to somebody and I say, hey, I want you on my show because I want to interview you. Now I've changed my dynamic completely. Like I used to be open to interviewing anybody. Now it's different. Now I'm very, very selective with the people I interview, and I am that way because of where I'm at, you know. And I don't mean to sound cocky or anything like that, but I've been in the game for a little bit, and the people that I have interviewed, you know, I've interviewed celebrities. I've interviewed old school celebrities that we grew up listening to. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the level that I'm at, I'm entitled to pick and choose per se who I want to have on my show. You know?
Absolutely. How have you had any difficult interviews where like when you've been halfway through the interview, you're just like, this ain't it?
Say that again.
Have you ever had any interviews where you've been probably like halfway through the interview and you like, yo, this ain't it? Like this interview ain't hitting?
Many times. Oh yeah. Well, like that's another reason why I cut off the whole I'm open to interviewing anybody, because that's another problem. Like you have a lot of artists that they have managers, and then their managers will come with them to these interviews, and I'm sitting there talking to them, and these artists are just like complete mutes, or they don't know how to speak, and I'm like, well, clearly your manager doesn't know to prep you for an interview. You have absolutely no interview etiquette. You know what I mean? You can't even hold a conversation, or you can't even answer a conversation in a sentence. You're like one wording everything, you know? So it just makes the whole conversation really, really boring. And I'll end it. I'll be honest. I'm not going to sit there with you for a whole hour. I'll be like, you know what? We're going to get into this music. We're going to get into this break. You know what I mean? We're going to smoke this L and we're just going to chill because we're not about to sit in silence. I refuse to sit in silence. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
So, because I'm still
I'm
new,
sorry.
right?
I got a plane going by.
That's
Hold on.
right.
I got planes flying low. I should be on one of these bitches right now.
You'll get there. So, how long have you actually been? How long have you actually been interviewing people? Since the No Filter? Since you started No Filter?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry. There was a plane passing by.
Now, I said, how long have you been interviewing people? Since No Filter? Or were you doing it actually beforehand?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No, it's all right. No, I'm saying, how long have you actually been interviewing people? Since No Filter or beforehand?
Yeah, when I was on the Evening Rush, we were interviewing a few people, but it wasn't as much as like now. Like the Evening Rush wasn't really interviewing people when I was with them. It was more so a talk show. You know what I mean? It was more so conversation based and a lot of topic based conversations like that, which was dope, you know, because the conversation was always stimulating. It was always good. You know, it was literally never a dull moment on that show every week. You know, and I enjoyed it. But, you know, like I said, when I started my show, that's when everything started kicking off. My first interview actually on No Filter was with Spliff Star, Busta Rhymes Hype Man.
Flip mode.
Yeah, he his manager at the time, she attended my showcase and I didn't know her. She came up to me and she asked me for my business card. I gave her my business card, and the next day I got a phone call and it was actually her. And I still didn't know who the hell she was. And she's like, I'd like to book an interview. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, it's for Spliff Star. So I said, what? And she goes, you don't know who he is? And I said, of course I know who he is. I'm like, I just want to make sure this ain't no prank call. And she goes, no, this is serious. Like, I'm his manager and I want to book an interview with him. And I'm like, I just started my show like maybe like a couple of months ago. How the hell did you even hear about me to even attend my event? You know what I mean? It was like to that point, but it was real. And he came on my show and he came with his whole team.
So
And it was dope.
that's what's up. So
Damn
when
it! Hold
hosting,
on, time out. I got another plane.
the planes are causing commercial breaks, guys.
Stuck? He's stuck. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I got a question. When hosting events, right? What is the pros and cons of hosting an event?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
What's the pros and cons of hosting an event?
The cons are artists showing up late. They don't respect time. They have absolutely no respect for time. And I don't mean time just for me as a host, but me, myself, for the other artists, for the DJ, for everybody who plays a role in, putting this event together. You're wasting everybody's time. And I feel like it's very disrespectful. It shows your character. It shows how you don't know how to do business. It shows you don't respect the business. And it shows that you don't care about your craft and your career. Because if you did, you would be there while we're fucking setting up the lights and the DJ is setting up his shit and everything else. If you was really on top of your shit. So that's my biggest peeve is that. So I always set, whenever I do my shows will start by like 9:00 and I'll tell people be there by 7. Because that's where the whole color people time kicks in. And it's unfortunate too, and it's sad that we have to keep running that line that, oh, you on color people time, and it's whack. At this point, it's whack. It's like, yo, get to business, have respect for people's time. Not only that, but you don't know how long whatever particular person has amount of time for that venue. You understand what I'm saying? They might just have the venue for 2 hours or maybe 3 hours, and they made it set to where, look, if I start at this time, I can execute X, Y, and Z, and we'll be out by the time I got to get out of here. But now if you late and then Tom is late and this person's late, now you're just delaying the whole show. And then you're going to get people mad because they can't perform. But the pros are seeing people come and perform and, naturally perform. When I mean naturally perform, they're not lip singing, meeting new artists and actually getting to meet the artists in person that I've never met before, that I've only, have communication with via social media. There's a ton of people that we know just via social media that we've never met before, and you probably have the dopest relationships with, friendships with them. I mean, these are people that probably check in on you every day type of shit. Like, yo, you good? You know what I'm saying? And your peoples that live down the fucking block won't even do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good feeling when you get to meet those type of people finally in person. It's like, oh shit, like you actually really exist. Like you're here in the flesh,
Absolutely. It's unfortunate because I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said too. It's really unfortunate that
your mic went out. Oh, there you go.
It's really unfortunate that people that we don't know will support us faster than the people we do know. And it's so simple. Like, for example, me just starting this podcast, right? Or me having my YouTube channel. If I sit here and go, I have thousands of friends on social media, 1 subscribe is all it takes to make your page pop off. But yet, why is the subscribers so low? And it's like you post content, people like it, people watch it, people won't even watch it, but people will like it. I mean, people won't like it, but they'll watch it. And it's like a simple like goes a long way. A simple repost goes a long way. And like you just said, you got people who will check on you that through social media faster than people who you known for your whole life personally.
Absolutely. And
really, it's a shame when you think about it.
I got a girl that sends me like a freaking she sends me a meme every freaking morning, like like one of those motivational shits. Like she sends me something like damn near every morning. She sends me. I can guarantee to get something from her every single one. Mind you, I've never met this woman a day in my fucking life, yo. Never met her in my life.
Yeah, it's like for example, I'll give you a perfect example, right? Of this a situation of what something can do. You putting me in the magazine, right? I didn't even know that I was on the post. My girl sent me the thing like, so
yeah, I forgot to tag everybody. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yo, it's cool.
I was asleep.
Look, I was
like, I just gotta get this out. Hold on.
No, funny thing is I was going to sleep and she texts me and she's like, yo, did you see? And I'm like, see what? She's like, you're in the magazine. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then she sends me the thing and I'm looking and it's flipping through and I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, see, it's crazy. Like, and then, you know, and the opportunity, you know, the stuff we discussed today and all of the stuff that's coming along. So like from me to you, I just want to say thank you personally. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you already know. Listen, I respect people's grinds. You know what I mean? That's one thing I respect people's grinds. And you know, whether I speak to people or not, you know, I watch. I pay attention to a lot of shit, a whole lot. I be in the cut, but I pay attention to a lot. And I'm nosy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nosy as fuck. So I investigate, you know what I mean? I just be looking for shit and looking at shit. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I see people grinding, I see you grinding, and I seen you've had your show for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I said, I respect it because we're in the same field. And I know that it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? And I see that you're doing it alone. And again, it's not easy. It's not easy maintaining it. It's not easy, you know, dealing with people.
Mm-hmm. It's like,
you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you know, you have your own brand. And there's there's more than enough space for everybody to eat and for everybody to shine. So it doesn't take anything away from me from sharing my platform with you. Because the only good thing that's gonna happen out of this is that it's gonna broaden both of our platforms. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm opening up my platform to you, and you may gain some followers from my peoples, and you know, vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it just makes more of connections possible.
Absolutely. Like, cause like I can tell you, and you know firsthand, doing a podcast is not easy. One, doing a podcast by yourself is not easy at all. Like when I first started this particular podcast, I was doing it on Anchor. I and trying to find things to talk about by yourself, where I would think, okay, I got everything in my head. This will take me half an hour. I say everything I need to say, and it's like 10 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just like, yo, and I'm just like, what? You know what I'm saying? And then that grind got me noticed by Dawn. You know what I'm saying? So, and then that got me an interview on the Evening Rush show. That then got me the opportunity to have my podcast on the Evening Rush Network, which then became Rel's Relaxation Hour. And then after that, I was like, you know, I kind of want to go back to my roots. So I was like, I kind of want to try this. You know, I want to go back to what got me started in the first place, because I feel like this Rel Raw and Uncut is my passion. That's what. Oh, airplane again. That's where I feel like me. Oh,
hold on.
Take a break. Yeah. The plane's going. Sorry for all the plane difficulties.
My homegirl said that your phone is probably low because you have an iPhone.
Oh, wow.
Stop being rude to my guests. Don't be rude. That's what she said.
First of all, I don't even have my iPhone on right now. I'm actually doing it from my laptop. So I don't know why.
He said he has a laptop. Oh, she said if your laptop is an Apple, it still constitutes as an iPhone. So it's
not an Apple iPhone. It's not an Apple laptop. Nah. But like I was saying,
I used to actually have people on my show. I used to have guests as well. I mean, not guests. I'm sorry. I used to have co-hosts on my show. But you know, everybody ain't gonna have the same grind as you, and everybody's not gonna respect your brand. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are not gonna put in the work that you would expect them to put, knowing the field that they're getting themselves into. You know, so it's like, why get into a field and then just slack off? It makes no sense. Like you're holding me back, you know? So I just let them go, and I focused on, you know, my radio station and my radio show. And I started, you know, I had about 5 radio shows on my station. I had one in Cali, I had 2 in Georgia, I had 1 in Jersey. You know, so they were able to have their own radio shows on my station, which was really dope. And you know, like I said, it's a lot of grinding. It's a lot of work.
How does that process go of getting like other radio shows from like other states to be part of yours?
It's the network that I'm on. That's why I have my own radio station. Like I don't just have it's not just No Filter Radio Show. Like it's No Filter Radio Station, and then I have it just happens to be the same name. But the station I have is my station. With that station, like anybody can have their own show, and they don't have to be in New York here with me. They could be anywhere in the world and still be able to air their show whenever they want. Or not whenever they want, but the time that's dedicated for them.
That's the grind that you put in to keep No Filter Radio and IndieSource magazine. Like, how do you manage to balance that and family life? Because I could imagine that takes up a lot of time.
No, definitely. The good thing is that my family is supportive. My husband is supportive. My son used to be supportive, but now he's a whole grown ass adult. He's 21 right now, so I think he just like tossed my ass to the side. He uses me for food. I make dinner for him, and that's what he uses me for. But yeah, they're supportive. They've always been supportive. They're like my what's the word? They're like not my final decision, but I run things by them. Like, I'll be like, yo, what y'all think about this? You know what I mean? And I value their opinions because I know they're not going to have me out there looking crazy, and they're going to be the most honest with me. They're brutally honest with me, so I always go to them for feedback. And I just managed to balance it because, one, my son is not a child. He's not a baby. You know what I mean? So it's not like I have a baby like this and I have to like air a show and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? If anything, I had him right next to me. He was doing my audio for me and, being my troubleshooter whenever I needed. You know what I mean? My husband is actually my DJ. Hold on, we got fucking planes. Why are all these planes passing by right now? Why is everybody flying? Why is everybody flying right now? Every 5 minutes? What the fuck? Sorry, we need to be on these goddamn planes. These motherfuckers is flying every goddamn 5 minutes.
Oh, I'm a look.
But yeah, my husband is actually my DJ. He's my DJ. He's my DJ for my show. He's my DJ for whenever I do my concerts or my showcases and shit like that. My son DJ'd for me a few times. What else? Yeah, so like I said, it balances itself out because they're very supportive. So it's not like if I'm working that it's like, oh shit, you doing this again? It's like, oh, you're doing that, I bet, because they know how important it is for me.
Absolutely. And if you eat, everybody eats. It's a win-win situation for everybody.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're gonna close out. So I just got two more things. We're gonna ask. First of all, let everybody know about the showcase that you're doing. Where it's gonna be, who's performing, how can they get there, things of that nature.
Yeah, so that's September 16th. That's gonna be in Bushwick. You're killing me right now because I don't have the address off the top of my head.
Don't worry about it.
It is in Bushwick. If you go to No Filter Radio LLC, you can find it. You'll see the flyer there. But we have some dope ass artists performing. We got Amber, we got R Nabby, we have 07, we have oh my god, we have a lot of artists. I have 7 artists right now performing. There's gonna be food there. There's gonna be drinks there. It's 420 friendly. There's gonna be the magazines are gonna be there. So whatever artists that are gonna be there, whoever was actually in the magazine, is gonna be, you'll be eligible to get a signing from whoever is in the magazine if you choose to purchase a magazine and stuff like that. Photographers are gonna be there. What else? It's going to be an after party because it's not just going to be a show. I want people to be able to party. And when I mean party, I mean like put your phone away and I want you to be sweating and I want you to be dancing like, back in the days type shit. You know what I mean? Like I want people to have like a real feel good time. You know what I'm saying? And most of all, it's going to be networking. Most importantly is networking. That's my goal, is for everybody to always leave with a contact. I tell everybody every time I have a show, make sure you leave with somebody's contact. Don't leave without having somebody's number in this room, because everybody's of value. You know what I'm saying?
You never know who's looking to get interviewed or who's looking, what I'm saying? Just of that nature. Like podcasters are there, they're networking, artists are there, they're networking. Like you said, it's a networking event. So you never know. It's always a good thing. It's always a good thing to have that type of confidence to be able to, go to somebody and be like, hey, look, I have a podcast. I want to interview you. a lot of these people are not going to really tell you no. A lot of people are trying to get heard and seen as many places as they can be.
Mm-hmm.
So those are events where there's no need for you to be shy at all. So, so
you can't be shy in this industry. You can't.
Listen, it's not. I don't want to say you're actually right about that, right? But like I said earlier, it's almost like you got to kind of find yourself in it.
No, definitely, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, because for me, when I decided to go back out and do the Railroad Uncut and now do it like audio form and visual, it was like, okay, so now I got to interview people. How am I going to go about interviewing people? Like, because when I did my podcast on the Evening Rush Network, I didn't have a lot of interviews. So now it's almost like, how do I go about interviewing people? And honestly, the easiest way to interview people is just to ask them. Yeah, because the worst thing they could tell you is no.
Yo, there be times I'll be talking to people. Yeah, I'll just have a conversation with somebody, and then I like unknowingly just start asking them a ton of questions, and I'll be like, "Oh shit, I'm so sorry, I'm interviewing you right now." I'll be like, "My bad."
Yeah, like it's not hard. Honestly, like I said, you can just ask someone, "Yo, I want to interview you. Would you let me interview you?" 9 out of 10 times they're gonna tell you, "Yeah." Now you just got to get the contact information, and now you just got to set it up. But yeah, most of the time they have no problem doing it. And now, like you said, this is an industry where you can't be shy. That's when you have to go up to people and approach people, and you have to engage in conversation with people. If you don't engage in conversation with people, you're never going to have any guests. Your podcast is never going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I asked this question to everyone before I leave the show. If you could tell your younger self something that your older self knows now, what would you tell your younger self?
Wait, you said if I could tell my younger self what?
If you could tell your younger self something that your older self knows now, what would you tell your younger self?
Ride motorcycles. Now, let me stop. No, I'm only playing. That I know now, I would say to be more knowledgeable about finances and credit. Yeah. Because you know why? Because as children, as young children, we were never taught that. My son right now is 21. My son was doing stocks. He wanted to do stocks at fucking 16 years old. And I was like, what are you thinking about stocks right now? But his mind was already there. You know what I'm saying? So I wish I would have known. I wish I would have had his mindset at his age when I was that age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I have no regrets at all, but I'm just saying.
No, I get what you're saying. They never taught us that. Imagine where we would be. Imagine more knowledgeable we would be now if they taught us that at a young age. When we were younger, we thought, okay, we could run through credit. It's not a big deal until you try to purchase something and realize your credit plays a big part in it.
Yeah, definitely. That shit is a major part.
Yeah, but a lot of people, a lot of younger people, or us younger, didn't really think about it too much. So, but yeah. So
I was caught up. I was caught up in the fast money. I was caught up in the fast life and the wrong life.
And listen, I mean, like you said, they didn't teach us this stuff. So at the end of the day, how many young kids think credit is just you can run through credit is not a big deal. Like, I'll be all right. Like I said, until you get older and you want to purchase something like a car, your APR is through the roof, or you want to purchase a home and you can't because you have no credit or your credit is horrible.
Exactly.
Stuff that I think is really important that we teach the younger generation about. Like, credit is not to be messed with. Credit takes you a lot farther in life than money will.
Credit is gold.
Yep. So I just want to thank you for letting me interview you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Nah, my pleasure.
We're not done doing business. Don't worry. I gotta hit you up because you gotta send me some stuff, and I gotta send you some stuff and shit like that.
This is actually just the beginning. So, and I appreciate it. But let everybody know where they could find you.
Well, you can just Google No Filter Radio LLC, but as far as social media platforms, is No Filter Radio LLC all across the board. My personal Instagram is Jesblaze Official. That's JESBLAZE Official. And yeah, you can find it. Oh, and my website is nofilterradiollc.net. You can find IndieSource Mag at IndieSourceMag underscore. And yeah, but like I said, if you just Google No Filter Radio LLC, you'll find everything that you need to find there.
All right, cool. So thank you once again. Thank you for that interview. I greatly appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Nah, no problem.
Bro, this is raw and uncut, bro.